a KQED television production.
I'm telling you right now, I am hungry.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by
Redwood Credit Union, community banking for the North Bay and San Francisco. Business and personal, online and mobile, plus nationwide ATMs. Banking for people who call this place home.
Sutter Health CPMC announcing its newly opened Mission Bernal Hospital with all private rooms and comprehensive labor and delivery services. SutterHealth.org/Mission Bernal. Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 8 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com. IRG has thousands of surfaces in stock now. Surfaces, selection, service. IRG at MarbleCompany.com. Oakland International Airport, now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sabraco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests and each one recommends one of their favorite spots and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. There's nothing like dining next to the water, and the Bay Area affords us many opportunities to breathe in fresh air and relax with waves lapping close by. In this episode, we're revisiting 3 restaurants that are on or close to the water. We begin with a place on an island, Alameda Island. It was in season 10 that college professor James Kazar, who was schooled in the art of food and beer appreciation, took us to his favorite spot. His place sources both locally and globally and shares seating with its neighbors. A second location offers views of the city too. The name of the place is Scolari's Good Eats.
I grew up on the East Coast, and I wanted to bring back some of the things that I missed. I'm Michael Boyd, chef and co-owner of Scolari's Good Eats in Alameda. We like to have fun with our food, so if something sounds familiar, that doesn't mean that we're going to serve it in a familiar kind of way. We're going to twist it, and we like to have that element of surprise. Not only is it more exciting for the customer, it's more exciting for us as well. We're mostly well known for our burgers. Our buns come from New Jersey, and we use a flat grill. You get a really good char and crust on the burger, and then sky's the limit to what we can add to it. It's a very small restaurant. We have limited seating options, but there's ample seating at the bar next door, and we're happy to deliver it there. Scolari's is open till midnight, so it's nice to have a place next door where you can come into a warm place and enjoy your food at 11 o'clock or 11:30. I think food is the ultimate art form. It has to look good, taste good, smell good, and I really enjoy what I do.
Now, Scolari's Good Eats, now this is comfort food, let's, right?
I'm definitely comforted after going there, yes. I live in Alameda, and I'm not far from there, and went there and had, I think, the best hamburger I've ever had in my life.
All grass-fed beef and
Who cares?
Yeah.
It was the best hamburger I ever had in my life. Juicy and moist. They've had a special baked pretzel bun. And instead of bacon, they did a braised pork belly on top of that, man. Oh, smoky, wonderful, unctuous. And then some cheddar that had been flavored with horseradish, so it was bitey, and then shaved fennel on top of that. Oh,
My stomach, I'm growling
I'm
right
growling
now.
right
My
now,
stomach's
yeah.
growling.
It was
So
fantastic.
this is the burger is what really drew you into this.
Yeah,
And
any of their burgers, they have different special burgers that they come up with all the time. I like to get the special, but just the regular burger is that's on the regular menu is fantastic.
I had the same burger actually. Yeah, the pork
pretzel
belly.
burger.
I did.
Well done.
No, I have to. For me, it was a little bit of a miss, honestly.
okay.
The burger itself was absolutely juicy. I definitely would go back and try the regular cheeseburger, the one that they're famous for. But I've been on a pork belly kick recently, so I had to go for the pork belly. And I wish the pork belly had a little bit more flavor, honestly. It kind of was a little bit lost in there. It seemed like there was a lot of different things competing for flavor, with the salt and the horseradish and the fennel. But the thing I did like there was the buffalo fries, I have to say. I'm a huge fan of buffalo wings, and I love French fries, and so you can't go wrong with them together.
Fries from heaven, absolutely.
They're perfect. They're crispy, coated in hot wing sauce, blue cheese, shaved carrots, and celery on top. I just couldn't stop eating those. I ordered a second one to take home for my wife, and great appetizer.
Right, and they've got stromboli. Did you have the stromboli?
We had a cheeseburger, buffalo wings, and a stromboli, and French fries. And so,
start with the
stromboli. That was my first time having it. It was like a inside-out pizza. It had too much meat for me, but my husband liked it. He liked it, and it had a nice red chunky tomato dipping sauce.
I also had the stromboli. I never had one before. It was a little greasy, but it was flavorful. You know, the tomato sauce was really good, spicy.
Too much gluten and dairy for me, but it was good. What I did enjoy was the cheeseburger. I just got the plain cheeseburger, and we added bacon. And it was delicious.
Just the right. And you have to say, because you go up and order these things, and you take them to Lucky 13, you go to the bar next door, don't you? So let's talk a little bit about the bar.
First of all, they were very friendly, very kind. It's my first time here. They were very welcoming. We started out with a little red wine, and it's very comfortable. And then our food arrived, and it was.
And they've got 20, draft beers. They've got 40 bottled beers. They've got local wines.
Really good craft cocktails as well.
And what else did you have when you were there?
I also had the fried pickles. Those were interesting. I love fried pickles. They were a little salty, but perfectly crispy. I took a falafel burger home to go. I've never had anything like that. A hand-packed falafel patty, very crisp. Got the butter, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and olive hummus.
Right.
Very good on a brioche bun.
And what about value? Did you think this was a good deal?
You get a lot of food, so that to some people that's a good deal.
But you felt it was
hangover food. I will tell you, I'm a new connoisseur to blue cheese, and I did enjoy the chunks of blue cheese on top of the buffalo wings and the shredded carrots. I'm always looking for a fresh vegetable. It gave it a crisp. It was creamy and salty and spicy, and those are really good.
Can't eat there every week, boy, but when you want comfort and gluten and grease, that's the place to go to get your gluten and grease, because what is comfort food if it isn't gluten and grease?
That's right. Well, I was going to say, give us a quick summary, but I think we got it right there.
Excellent gluten and grease at a reasonable price in a great venue. How about that?
Great burgers.
Great burgers indeed. And the pizza, the sandwiches, never had anything there that I didn't enjoy.
And Omar?
It's good eats, good drinks. I'd definitely probably go back on the weekend during the day and take it to go and hang out in the park in Alameda. That sounds like a good plan to me.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
classic American diner food, blue cheese and wings.
if you'd like to try Scolari's Good Eats, it's on Park at Encinal in Alameda. The telephone number is 510-521-2400. It's open every day for lunch and dinner, open till late Thursday through Saturday. Reservations are not accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $15. And don't forget to visit their waterfront restaurant, Scolari's at the Point in Alameda, next to the Rockwall Wine Tasting Room. Next up, sit next to the water and admire the yachts from your table while basking in the sun. It was in Season 7 that we visited strategist Taylor Marcus's Sausalito location. You can relax and listen to the sound of the wind in their sails as you sip your Kir Royale. The restaurant is in a garage hidden off Liberty Ship Way, and it is what it is. It truly is a garage. But they give it a French twist and call it Le Garage.
This location is beautiful. People love it. You almost feel like being on the south of France. Hi, I'm Bruno Denis, co-owner of Le Garage Bistro in Sausalito with Olivier Souvestre, my partner and chef. I am originally just from outside Versailles, and Olivier is from just outside Rennes. He's always bring his little touch on the French classic. He always put a little something to make it different than anywhere else. The burger is actually one of the very popular ones. We like that, actually. Our burger is very popular, so on lunchtime. We developed a wine list, myself with our manager and wine director here. We mix pretty much 50-50 with California and French wines as well. So when we have French customers on vacation, it's always good to try to introduce them to something different, you know. Why people should come to the garage, it's just to have a good time. That's why we really care for it, to make sure when people leave, they're really happy and they bring us the rest of the family the next time, so that's definitely important.
Taylor, how did you discover this? Because it is sort of, you've got to know where you're going to get there.
Yeah, it's a little bit off the beaten path, but one of my best friends who grew up in Marin took me there on a lovely afternoon, and I thought it was just so much fun and so great. My favorite aspect probably is the atmosphere. It's when I have friends or guests visit from out of town, the destination I want to take them to, lively place with delicious bistro food.
And what do you get when you go?
So we had a little bit of everything at dinner. I had a rabbit pasta that had a really good balance of everything. Rabbit, noodle, and mustard, which I really like. It's delicious.
You're a balanced girl. You like to get all those little pieces together.
I'm totally about balance. That's, you'll look at my plate sometimes and everything's, you know.
Some people eat all the pasta and then all the vegetables.
Yeah, I'm figuring out each bite, how to put a nice little ratio or proportion in there.
Right.
And I also love to go for brunch when it's a really pretty afternoon and see the boats, and their burger at brunch on a brioche bun with, I believe it's Morbier cheese, is delicious. Nice patty, and again, good ratio and pretty classic.
Of the bun to the burger.
Bun to burger ratio, you know. When you order a burger, you want the burger, you want the meat. So it's really about getting that ratio down, and I think they do a great job there.
And do you agree, Michael, with the bun to the burger ratio? Let's get into that discussion here.
I would agree. We didn't get the burger, but I looked at it and I said this would be a perfect spot for brunch. We decided to go for the foie gras.
Well,
because it's a French restaurant.
Right.
You have to do that, and it went perfect with the Sancerre. And we got the mussels, and the mussels, it was piling over the bowl, and it was a perfect amount, and that way we ensured that we got to dessert.
Well, I did the start of the foie gras, and I would agree. It went perfectly with the Chablis. Chablis was a little dear at $16 a glass, but it was a good combination. But I tell you, I think the squash blossom stuff with the crab beat out the foie gras. Very savory.
And they had the piquillo coulis around it, which was really nice because it really brightened it up a little bit.
We also had a really delicious mushroom soup. I think it was the soup du jour, though, so I don't know if it was there when you visited. It had truffle oil on top, which I think you can't go wrong anytime truffles are included. So that was delicious, and it didn't have cream in it, but it was still really rich without being heavy. So it was still rich, but really fresh and a little bit lighter, and delicious mushroom flavors, which were also a standout. One of my friends had the snapper, and there were morels, I believe, on the side that were her favorite aspect of the dish, and maybe even the restaurant.
And actually, the bread that they served, it was perfect. It was crusty. It's everything.
You sop up all the mussel juice.
Exactly, and we were ordering it for that. And we found out that they actually sell it at the local farmers market. So we're going to track them down.
Was it romantic?
I'd say it was a little less romantic than Salute because it's closer to the water, so you don't see the water as much. And it's a marina, and the parking is restricted and so forth. And you've got to go 50 yards outside the restaurant. It keeps the garage theme. Can I have the key for the bathroom back? But it was exactly as promised. It's a Parisian bistro. It's in a garage. And I found, if I can switch a little bit the service, I found spotty. It was the two guys, and they're trying to cover the whole thing, and it was early evening, and it was pretty full.
I think the service is, you know, it's somewhat fun in a way because there's a little bit of the French attitude. I think they are all from France, and they have, you know, very specific demeanor, but they're also friendly and have, I think, a sense of humor. And we found the service to be fine, though.
Yeah, we actually got there early, and we were literally the only people in the restaurant. There were a couple of tables outside, and I was like, oh, here we go again. And we got the corner table, and we actually sat next to each other looking out. And by the time we were done, the place was full and the place was hopping, and we had finished our bottle of wine, and I said, oh, could we split one glass? And he said, okay, and the glass, both of them were filled up to here. And I said, that's half a glass? And he goes, I'm being generous.
That's always good service, then. That's always good service.
Yeah, so I had no problem with the service at all.
And desserts. Did you find a dessert that you liked on this menu?
The fondue au chocolat. So you, it was baked very nicely. You cut into it. It had an espresso ganache in it. I would have liked to have had a little bit more of an espresso taste. I'm not a big...
You just have to order a glass to split then, or more espresso.
I guess so. I guess so.
All right, this is your restaurant. Give us a quick summary.
Le Garage is a really fun spot in a garage, but also fresh, airy, warm feel with delicious bistro food.
Okay, and Bill?
It's a real bistro. It's in a garage. It's worth your time and energy to go.
Okay, and Michael?
I think for brunch, for dinner, anytime, it's theater and dinner all rolled into one.
If you would like to try Le Garage, it's on Liberty Shipway in Sausalito. The telephone number is 415-332-5625. It's open every day for lunch and dinner with brunch on weekends. Reservations are accepted for lunch and dinner only. And the average tab for dinner without drinks is around $50. Cevicherias abound in Peru. They're places to share life, sea, nature, culture, and friendship. And we revisit our San Francisco version on the bay. Writer and freelance journalist Andrew Vance chose this spot in season 9. It's where he likes to sit outside on a sunny day sampling Peruvian dishes in style. The new staff and new faces in the kitchen hasn't changed the menu. It's still sun, sea, ceviche, and cocktails. It's perfect. On Pier 1.5 in San Francisco, it's called La Mar.
We go through a ton of lime here. We freshly squeeze everything, both at the bar and in the kitchen, to make the leche de tigres for the ceviches, as well as all the drinks that we make at the bar, including obviously the thousands of pisco sours that we make every week. My name is Gabriel Originario. I'm the general manager of La Mar Cevicheria in San Francisco. La Mar originally started in Lima about 10 years ago. Once you experience, Peruvian food, you really discover like a new culinary experience you never had before.
My name is Danny Cole, and I'm the executive chef at La Mar Cevicheria. I born and raised in Peru. It's a tradition of my family, they're all cooks. Peruvian food has a lot of influence, Chinese influence, Japanese, Spain, Italy. That makes Peruvian food very rich and a good blend of everything. Every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, we got our first fish from the Pier 35, which is a few blocks from here, and we have our own butchers.
We work together with the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and we follow the month-to-month guidelines that we receive from them. I love working here because the festive environment, obviously the food. When I went to Lima, Peru, I was so pleased to see that the food that we make here in San Francisco is just as good as at La Mar in Lima.
Andrew, let's talk ceviche.
I don't go out and do a lot of fine dining, but after I had a friend take me to La Mar, I've been back many times since because the ceviche was so fresh and delicious and the flavors were outstanding. I always like to kick off my dining experience at La Mar with the ceviche mixto. You get to try 4 different ceviches. Everything from like a Mexican-inspired ceviche, which has an avocado in it and some jalapeno, to a Japanese-inspired ceviche, which has more Japanese sushi-type flavors. But all of the ceviches, to me, are delicious. It's one of my favorite things to eat. If it were served in buckets, I would probably order a bucket.
You strike me as a leche de tigre sort of guy.
Yeah, I am a fan of the milk of the tiger, Leslie. So leche de tigre is the base that they use to marinate the fish
to
and
cook
the
the
ceviche.
fish, essentially. It's raw fish, ceviche, cooked in those citrus juices.
Yeah, the citrus juice cooks the fish.
The way they are marinated is just out of this world. It really tickles your taste buds. We had ceviche Nico. It was wonderful. It was ahi tuna with Japanese cucumbers and a fine sauce. There was a little sweetness to it, which was really great.
It has almost like a little bit of a tangerine taste to it. Yeah.
I had an interesting dining experience there. Walking in, great place, Pier 1.5. Huge. Tremendous setting, terrazzo floors, high ceilings, view of the bay. We start out with the plantain chips they bring to the table with 2 sauces.
Sweet
one's
potato.
Orange, one's yellow.
Yeah, sweet potato.
I like the orange one better. It was a little bit spicy. That was cool. We had a crab potato dish that was nice. Cold Yukon Gold pressed potatoes with Dungeness crab on top. Just rich enough, just light enough to get it started, along with the plantain. The waitress explained the menu. I was still a little bit confused, so I figured I'll just roll the dice. I kind of like this, I kind of like that. Ordered a crispy noodle dish that's a vegan base, and then we added seafood to it with quinoa. That thing was not happening.
You didn't
Smelled
like
like when
quinoa,
my
you're not a
wife
quinoa
burns
guy.
the microwave popcorn.
Let's face the facts, Danny. When you roll into a restaurant, you try to combine the vegan with the seafood. That's like trying to bring the crane and tiger styles of kung fu together.
Exactly.
I don't know.
You
If
like
that's
the milk
gonna
of the
work out.
tiger, I like the eye of the tiger.
Fair enough.
See, guys,
Fair
let's
enough.
call it a
Exactly.
right?
Fair
You know,
enough. Fair enough.
call it a stand-up.
enough.
All right, on that one.
Next time I got to bring, Andrew has to bring me.
You have to go with Andrew.
with the tiger.
That's right.
Andrew
He
with the
owes
tiger.
somebody.
I'll bring the crane.
Okay.
All right.
And I have to say, now Lamar has outposts all over the world, really.
Yeah.
The owner started this in Peru,
Mainly
but in
in
Chile and
South
Brazil.
America.
And I have to say, I had the best pisco sour of my life in the Santiago Lamar. So you have to.
The bar is incredible. I mean, walking in the bar.
In this bar, yeah.
I'm going back to post up at the bar.
Right.
that's for
I
sure.
mean, I'll throw that out there.
The bar is incredible.
Yeah, they have a beautiful
Beautiful
bar.
people,
Yeah.
hipsters, music.
Maria,
Yeah.
what else did you have beside the ceviche? And
Well, we had a salad. The way the little pieces of vegetables were hidden in the greenery was just wonderful. And then we also had pescado, which is a yellowtail tuna on skewers served over beans and Peruvian corn. And that was quite fascinating and very tasty.
The paella dish, I think it's called a Rose Lamar. And it was amazing, and it had so much seafood, and it was so flavorful. I loved it. They have a lomo saltado, which is kind of a stir-fried ribeye, big chunks of ribeye, seared to perfection, medium rare on the inside, so yielded to the knife nicely, and perfectly complemented by the jus and hunks of fried potato.
The pièce de résistance was the dessert. Mezza morita. It had a base made of oats, quinoa, and almond paste. And on that were fruits. It's almost hard to describe.
I want it
Ice
now.
cream
You're
with
making me
it.
wish
I
I
want
tried
it
it,
now.
Maria.
Yeah.
Didn't even see that one on the menu.
It was absolutely magnificent. I wanted to be sure to present it because it was so
Everybody should order
special.
that.
I believe this dish was like Quattro Leche Helado or something like that. It was a 4-milk ice cream, and it had a rice foam on top of it. And who doesn't love a good rice foam? And it was more icy than it was creamy, and it tasted a lot like an ice cream version of horchata. It was a really nice, light way to top off a delicious meal for me.
I describe them as pumpkin onion rings. They look like onion rings, 3 or 4 of them on a plate with a honey brown sugar sauce, dusted with some powdered sugar. They were super tasty.
I love it. And what about service?
I thought the service was very good. The people were friendly. That wasn't really an issue at all. Maybe a little bit more time having the server explain the menu to someone who's there for the first time.
At the place called Lamar, the sea, I think maybe stick to the seafood.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. It's your restaurant, so give us a quick summary.
I love it. Go-to place for ceviche in San Francisco. Awesome service, great ambiance.
Okay, Maria.
It's authentic Peruvian dishes, especially with ceviches.
All right, and Danny.
Beautiful location, beautiful bar, great desserts. I'm going to give it another try.
If you would like to try Lamar, it's on Pier 1.5 on the Embarcadero in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-397-8880. It's open for lunch and dinner every day with brunch on Sundays. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab for dinner without drinks is around $50. If you missed these places the first time around, we hope you've enjoyed a look back at 3 great spots. Now you have a chance to check them out. Thanks to James Kazar, who chose Scolari's Good Eats on the island of Alameda for its generous helpings of classic comfort food. And next to the bay in Sausalito, Taylor Marcus's pick, a French bistro with an industrial feel and relaxed vibe, delivers at Le Garage. And Andrew Vance's expansive deck and sweeping views of the bay in San Francisco, serving up fresh flavors and unique Peruvian dishes at Lamar. So join us next time when 3 new guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sirocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers. So now it's your turn. We want to hear from you if you visited any of our Check Please restaurants. You can post a selfie on Instagram, join the conversation on Facebook, and tweet us anytime. And don't forget to visit our website. All the shows are there, along with my wine videos and notes about the wines we drink on set. You'll also find our fun new web series, Taste This, where we celebrate food and drinks around the Bay. Cheers.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by Oakland International Airport, now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com. IRG has thousands of surfaces in stock now. Surfaces, selection, service. IRG at MarbleCompany.com. Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 8 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com. Sutter Health CPMC announcing its newly opened Mission Bernal Hospital with all private rooms and comprehensive labor and delivery services. SutterHealth.org/Mission Bernal.
Redwood Credit Union, community banking for the North Bay and San Francisco. Business and personal, online and mobile, plus nationwide ATMs. Banking for people who call this place home.